and happy Monday, academics and scholars. So we are entering into week 5. You should feel super confident in how you navigate the course at this point. You should know that every Monday morning I'm opening a new learning module and sending you a new video to talk to you about what to expect this week. You should be immediately beginning to navigate through each week's learning module and making sure that you're taking expert college level academic notes, so that way you can use those handwritten or printed out notes on your assessments, whether it's a test or a quiz. You should be using each day to block out your time. We've already talked about some of the science, the life hacks, the tools that you can use to make sure that you're maximizing and leveling up so that you can be successful while you're here at the institution. You want to stay in school, then you have to be about school. You can't just talk about it, you've got to be about it. So it's time to rise, it's time to level up, it's time to really get your hustle going. What's happening this week? Well, this week we are covering our last component of the first section of the course, and so we want to make sure that you're ready for next week, which is when test 1 enters. Okay, so you want to make sure that this is the week where, if you have not been taking great notes, that you go back through and you really dedicate yourself to moving through each page, looking at each video, looking at each article, reading the content that's on those pages, watching my videos and taking super excellent notes and reviewing those notes so that you can be prepared for next week. This week we're covering chapter 14, staying healthy and reducing stress. You should be thinking about how you are managing your time in all ways. We talked about that in order to sort of make sure that we are addressing our priorities, right? That you're thinking about ways in which to maximize your time so that you can self-actualize and be successful here in higher education. So when we think about staying healthy and reducing stress, remember that you have got to be well in order to do well in school. So we've got to be thinking about things like what are you using to fuel your body? Are you just surviving on Diet Coke and, Cheez-Its? That's probably not going to last you very long as far as yourself being well. So we want to make sure that we're thinking about nutrition, that we're thinking about sleep. I know you guys are in school and some of you may be working really hard. Some of you might be partying really hard. Whatever you're doing, you do need to think about your sleep. This will catch up to you very quickly. So make sure you read about that information. And finally, exercise and things like mindfulness meditations, right? Thinking about ways in which we can maximize ourselves by being a little more present, being a little bit calmer, and exercise and things like mindfulness meditation really assist the body and the brain, and we are talking this week about how those two things really are reciprocal, right? Your body has to do well for your brain to do well, your brain has to do well for your body to do well, and so we need to be thinking about the general factors: sleep, exercise, and nutrition. Those are the big 3 players. Then we can talk about stressors in life and what does stress really mean versus anxiety. When does it become a problem and when is it just normal and what do we do about it? And then thinking about ways to cope. You read any article about college students and we read about how college students cope with things like alcohol or drugs, or there's a high prevalence of depression, eating disorders, sex addictions, porn addictions, whatever, you name it, right? And so how do we then learn to cope with stress and anxiety so that you guys can have productive ways to cope with the stress that is normal in life, and how do we deal with that? Finally, we're going to talk about the 8 dimensions of wellness. This has been studied, so we find that in life there are 8 dimensions that people need in order to pay attention to feel really good in life. And so we're going to talk about those 8 areas, and we're going to start to do some self-assessment as to which ones are you paying attention to and which ones are you not paying attention to, and thinking about ways in which to sort of align those slightly better, right? You've got 2 tasks for this week. The first one is a review assignment. You're going to complete a discussion board. Remember, with discussion boards, your initial post is due on Friday. That's this Friday, the 19th. And then your reply to classmates, a minimum of 2 substantive replies to classmates, is due on Sunday, as well as a stress assessment and analysis is also due on Sunday. So, as always, remember that I'm here. I have office hours and student support hours between 5 and 6 on Monday and Tuesday. If you have any questions or you want to talk to me about anything, come and see me. I know that I'm slightly behind on grading. I began to catch up yesterday, and I'm going to continue to do that this week, and then I hope to stay on top of things. It has been wild over here. But just like you, we're all doing our best, and I want you to know that I am, as always, really, really strongly in your corner, and I am here for whatever you need. I want to facilitate your success. So make choices that align with your goals, and you will be doing great. I'm here. Let me know if you need me.